What is going on, everybody? We are back, and I am officially back from paternity leave, which means the Showdown articles will be back, and I'll also be on the Try for Show PGA DFS for Doe show with myself and STL Cardinals be on Tuesday nights. So I'm back on the show, back doing all of my Showdown stuff, and yeah, it's good to get back into it. Let's talk about this week's tournament. We have the Wyndham Championship. Now, this used to be a pretty big event. It was part of the FedEx Cup playoffs. So it had one of the best fields of the year. You know, all the best golfers in the world showed up because they wanted to, increase their chances of winning the FedEx Cup. But that is no longer the case. It's now in a bad spot in the schedule, and it's kind of a forgotten event. As you can see here, if we sort by the pricing, this field is headlined by Matt Fitzpatrick, Keegan Bradley, Ben Griffin, Hideki Matsuyama. Now, nothing against them, but they aren't necessarily the PGA Tour superstars that we're used to seeing at this event. So it's going to be a little bit different. Guys that have had good course history here in the past, especially prior to like 2022, 2023, those are in much stronger fields. So we kind of got to bump up the importance of that course history. But yeah, so let's talk about the course. It's Sedgefield Country Club in Greensboro, North Carolina. This is a par 70. Like a lot of the par 70s on the PGA Tour, this is a less than driver course. Golfers only hit driver on 52% of tee shots here last year, which is one of the lowest of any course on the PGA Tour. So accuracy is definitely going to be more important than distance this week. It's kind of just getting your drive in the fairway, whether it's with the driver, whether it's less than driver. Hitting the fairway is most important here. Distance, not all that big of a factor. And if you look at the Data Golf Course Fit tool, it's definitely skewed towards accuracy over distance. So that's kind of the angle that I'm playing off the tee this week. I have driving accuracy weighted at 6%, which is one of the highest that I'll have it all year. Strokes gained off the tee at 6%. Obviously, approach play is going to be important. These greens are very easy to hit, especially from the fairway. So if you get an accurate driver of the ball, they're going to be hitting the greens at 83% clip, one of the highest marks on the PGA Tour. If you do miss the fairway, then it's definitely harder to hit these greens. I think it's around 60% green regulation rate from the rough at this event. But yeah, so if you can get them, if you can hit the fairways, you're going to have a good chance of hitting these greens. And then obviously how good you are with your irons is going to determine how good of your birdie looks are going to be. I have 0% weighted to greens and regulations, and that's just because the greens are so easy to hit here that I think everyone's going to have a pretty high green regulation rate. I also have strokes gained around the green pretty low because, again, if you're going to have to be scrambling a lot when everyone else is hitting greens, then you're probably going to be in trouble anyway. So you don't want to have to rely on that around the green play. Strokes gained putting, I have it at 10%, one of the highest that I've had all season. And then 3% to strokes gained on Bermuda. We've had a lot of bent grass greens recently. So we had some fescue grass over in Europe. Now we're back to Bermuda. So guys that putt well on Bermuda, it's going to be a good week for them. Ben Griffin, Hadley, Seabez, Grazerman, all really good putters on Bermuda. I have 5% weighted to birdie or better, 5% weighted to bogey avoidance. Then I have 4% weighted to course history. I think course history is important, but not super important this week. The comps, I'm looking at strokes gained on par 70 courses over the last 2 years. Bobby Mack, Aaron Rye, Yeager lead the way there. Less than driver courses over the last 2 years. Vince Whaley, which is a surprising name. He has been playing pretty well recently, so he might be a guy that you want to look at. He's rattled off at least 7 straight made cuts with a couple top 11 finishes during that stretch. Norton coming off the big week last week. Luke Clanton has flashed some upside, although his recent form isn't particularly good at the moment. And then courses where the greens are easy to hit in regulation. Aaron Rye, Max Grazerman, Ben Griffin kind of lead the way there. As always, you have your last 10 weeks of results. This doesn't actually go as a weight into the model, but it kind of helps show how often somebody's playing and how good a form they are in recently. We have the top 5%, 10%, and 25% finish buckets here, how often they finish in those different buckets. So if you're looking for upside, bump up this column. If you're looking for safety, bump up this column. And this is over the last 18 months, which is why I don't have anything weighted to the last 18 months on a pure strokes gained basis, but I still have 15% of the total model weight to the last 18 months. It's just, I like to use this because it helps capture a little bit more upside. Then we have strokes gained over the last 3 months, strokes gained over the last 12 months to come up with our overall ratings. And again, the recipe for success this week: hit good iron play, or hit good iron shots, hit fairways, and make putts on these Bermuda greens. It's really that simple. At the very top, we have Ben Griffin. He is coming off of back-to-back missed cuts, but I'm not concerned about it in the slightest. They were both right on the number, and he's played well here in the past. He's number one in the model, number one in the stat model. Checks out pretty well in the comps as well. So Griffin's my favorite play above 10K. Don't mind Keegan. He's been playing really well. He's trying to earn himself a spot on that Ryder Cup team so he could be a player captain. He's got, T22 finish here last year. Hideki hasn't played this event great over the years, at least not recently. I think he used to play it a little bit better when it was part of the playoffs. But, don't mind looking at him in tournaments. Same goes for Bobby Mack. He's the best in the field on par 70 courses over the last 2 years. Aaron Wright, great course fit, won here last year. Lucas Glover, good course fit, won here in 2023. One of my favorite tournament plays on the board is Siwoo Kim. Couple top 3 finishes at this event in the last 5 years, and he's coming off with 2 straight miscuts, so I do think that ownership's going to be low. We have him at 7% ownership projected right now, and he's a guy that hits a ton of fairways. Look at these driving accuracy metrics, approach metrics, and then putting, always a wild card, but he has gained strokes putting at this event in 4 of the last 6 years. So for whatever reason, he's figured out these greens. Hopefully that can continue this week. Man, I love Matty Fitz over in the 2 events across the pond, but I don't know what I'm going to do with him this week. He doesn't have any course history over the last 5 years. He's not the most accurate driver of the ball. The iron play has definitely improved, and he is a pretty good putter. So I like him in a vacuum, just not at a price of 10-6 and 26% ownership. That's going to be tough for me to swallow. Harry Hall's been playing great, but he is 0 for 2 at this event. So kind of torn on what to do with him. Not a very accurate driver of the ball, not great with his irons. But he is really good on and around the greens. So on a course where everyone's going to be hitting greens, maybe the putting shines through. I'm not sure what to do there. Kitayama, he was one of my favorite plays last week, ended up winning. Huge weekend for him. Ended up allowing me to have a pretty good week of DFS. Victor Perez, my favorite point per dollar option on the board. Look at this. He's number 11 in the model, 6,900 on DraftKings, 8,400 on FanDuel. It's a great price point. He's been playing well. 9th, 19th, made cut, 43rd, 28th. He rates out well in all the comps. He was T33 here last year. Pretty accurate, good iron player, good putter. I mean, he checks all the boxes for me this week. Can't believe he's this cheap. His ownership, I would be surprised if it ends up being a 6%, but if it is, that's just icing on the cake. I'm going to have probably about 30% of Victor Perez in my MME lineups. Probably going to use him in my main lineup as well. Akshay played pretty well till Sunday last week. Højgaard rates out pretty well for me. Keith Mitchell always rates out well. One of those guys that so hit or miss. You kind of just play him in tournaments and then hope for the best. I do like Grazerman. So Grazerman's coming off with 3 straight miscuts. 2 of them were on the number. 1 of them was by 2 strokes. He was second here last year. I think it's a good bounce back spot for him. 8,200 is a pretty good price point. I like Smalley. He's a member at Sedgefield. He has been since 2020. Lives in Greensboro, so a guy that makes a lot of sense to me. I like Seabez. Been playing really well recently. Noren's coming off the big week. He's been very good on less than driver courses over the last couple of years. Denny makes a lot of sense on a shorter course where putting matters. Same for Andrew Putnam. I mean, Putnam, accurate driver, good iron player, elite putter. It should be a great week for Putnam. I don't hate Spieth and large field stuff. He just hasn't played a ton recently, but I don't hate the course fit for him. He has been driving the ball a lot better recently than he has in the rest of his career. I like Kevin Roy. He's been playing well. Bud Cauley makes some sense here. That'll do it for this week. So want to wish everyone the best of luck. Again, premium members can download this model. They can customize it to their liking. And they will also have access to my Showdown articles this week and my Showdown projections. So let's have a big week. Hit that thumbs up button, and we will see you back here next week.